5 to our fair. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Gotta go.
0.
Here we go again. Road trip!
Welcome to the 2008 road trip. First stop, LA Angels of Anaheim.
Welcome to California.
Hey, JC, I am so confused. This is meant to be the LA Angels, but we've just been in a car, hour and a half, 40 miles from Venice Beach. We're in Anaheim.
No, it's true, Goldie. We are not in LA proper. We are in Orange County, a little farther south. There's still a stadium with some history. 2002, they won a World Series.
Rally Monkey.
We gotta go find that monkey.
Do you think it might be with Eric,
The producer?
the producer?
Yeah, let's go see.
So here we are in Angel Stadium of Anaheim, and do you know what? My first impressions, JC, I absolutely love this place. It was built in 1966. It's immaculate. Capacity of 45,000 plus. This is a great ball stadium.
I have to agree with you, Goldie, and I do that with a heavy heart. Of course, we're in Anaheim. That's down south a little bit from where I grew up in Los Angeles, more of Dodger country. I hadn't been here in a while, and I came back, and you know what? I'm agreeing with you. 1998, they did a lot of changes to the stadium. They went from a very symmetrical stadium to having some quirks in the outfield. You have the rock pile in center field. It's a fair stadium, but there's one element that really helps the pitchers. And at twilight, you've got the shade right in front of the pitcher's mound coming out of the sun. Makes it very hard for hitters to hit. So a little bit of advantage for pitchers from that standpoint.
Well, I don't care whether it's a hitter's park or a pitcher's park. The fact is, it's anal. Everything is perfect. For me, I love it.
It's made for you, Goldie. And the reason for that, we're in Orange County. We're in Republican land. You know what that means? All the ducks are in a row. Very conservative.
Who cares about the Ducks? Angel Stadium gets a big thumbs up. I mentioned the weather's a massive improvement.
Wow, the weather is awesome. I mean, the Metrodome is always 70 degrees with no sun because we was in the dome. And but just playing on grass, you know, being around 40,000 fans every day on the Monday night, Tuesday night, it's crazy. And being in the sun, you know, working on my tan is awesome.
And I imagine tonight's going to be a bit special. Didn't even pick up on that.
Presumably when you're home, you can do things you can't do on the road, like surfing, doing stuff like that.
Yeah, you know, obviously you try to take full advantage of the beach as much as possible. You know, I like to get out there every once in a while, obviously a little bit less during the season than I would in the off season, but you know, you try to get out there as much as possible, get wet, and you know, have some fun in the surf.
Now, one of the great quirks of this stadium is, of course, the rock formation in center field. But I have to ask the question, JC, why?
Well, Goldie, as you know, in 1998, there were renovations to the ballpark. At the time, Disney owned it. Of course, Disney owned for their theatrics, and they wanted to add a little something special. And get this, it's representing the California coastline.
No.
You know what? It looks a little bit more to me like we're in Utah or Arizona or somewhere off the coast. Disney, known for their animation, I don't think they quite got this one perfect.
You know, I'm East Coast kind of guy, and I used to say that the West Coast just can't do hot dogs, and the Angels are no exception. I give this 5.5 out of 10. Just barely passes. Bland, like the team. I gotta ask you, why do your hot dogs suck?
What are you, Gordon Ramsay?
Oh, I like it.
Very good start, but we got to keep on rolling.
We certainly have, because guess what? It's Hello
Seattle!
So JC, here we are in Seattle, a town it seems with a lot to offer.
Well, we got the scenic Puget Sound behind us.
We've got downtown Seattle, that looks pretty cool.
And of course, Quest Field, home of the Seattle Seahawks from the National Football League.
Only problem is, we're on a baseball quest.
You know where we need to go?
What's that?
Safeco Field.
Home of the Mariners. So we're now pitside here at Safeco Field. JC, I've got to say my first impressions is, wow, it's a big stadium. It's a pretty daunting stadium. Now, I don't know if that's the colour, but it is also a bit claustrophobic, and dare I say it, it's not the prettiest.
I have to agree with you, Gouldy, and for me it all starts with the retractable roof. Now, of course, from a playability standpoint, great to have the retractable roof.
Yeah.
Means whether it's raining or shining, you're going to be able to play baseball. You take a look at it, and I'm not sure how aesthetically pleasing it is. The other issue, of course, is that there are a number of tiers up, and we did get a chance to go to the cheapest seats here, and the view isn't terrible, but it's a long distance from the top of the stadium down to home plate.
Well, I'm going to be positive about it. Everyone we've met involved with this organisation has got a massive thumbs up. Just delightful. But what about the baseball field itself? What about the dimensions?
Well, Safeco Field, of course, is renowned for being a pitcher's ballpark. And we spoke to some of the officials, and they say that's a bit of a bum rap. And the reason for that is that there are a lot of ballparks now that are batter friendly, and this is really more of a fair ballpark is what they claim. I'm not sure if I agree, but definitely an issue. One thing for batter's advantage is the batter's eye. Now that is the area behind center field which is meant to make the batter be able to see the ball better, and they've done special effort here in making a honeycomb effect that makes the glare a lot less on the black background. Of course, the final issue is the retractable roof. Now, scientists say no different whether the roof is on or off in terms of the way the ball carries. That said, players here, you know what they think? They think when the roof is closed, the ball carries better.
Okay, so all in all, Safeco Field gets a 5 baseball.
It is certainly my first time here at Safeco. It's an imposing structure. What's your thoughts on the roof?
I like it. You know, it has both the feel of open-air stadium that fans love to come out here on a beautiful day, but yet if it's cold and misty and rainy, you can put the roof up and, you know, still get the game in. You know you can get your pregame work in, you get the game in. Fans know that there's not a decision to make about going to the game based on the weather. It'll be comfortable inside the stadium no matter what.
It's known as a pitcher's ballpark. Do you feel that way?
Depends on the day. You know, traditionally I think it has been a pitcher's ballpark. It's an awful nice place to play. I came from Texas, which is a hitter's ballpark, so there's a big discrepancy between this place and Texas, but this is a beautiful venue, and usually it's pretty fair.
In my opinion, it's the nicest ballpark in all the major leagues. I visited just about all of them, except for a couple in the East. And in my opinion, it's the nicest ballpark.
Seattle has a lot of similarities, you know, culturally, you know, to Australia. It's not the stereotypical American sort of culture here in the Northwest. So I mean, that's something, you know, good for me. I sort of blend in a lot better here in Seattle than I do in a lot of other cities.
I've been told that here at Safeco, there's one thing only I should be ordering. And what's that?
That is the Ichiro.
Ichiro.
Yes.
As in the right fielder.
Right fielder as for Ichiro. But it's a name, it's a more of a nameplate because you have the double L's. It's still silent.
Ichiro. I get it. But does he get a cut every time you sell an Ichiro? I guess he's got enough money, doesn't he?
Spicy tuna.
Spicy tuna.
Okay, this is a minced big eye tuna. With our own rice and roll special spicy tuna sauce.
Spicy tuna.
Cut into 8 pieces. Cut into 10, but you know they each the standard. Get a dash of wasabi.
Wasabi. You know, this is probably the healthiest thing I've ever eaten at a ballpark.
I hope so.
Well, let's take a look. And so the Seattle Mariners Safeco Field Ichiro. Get it? Ichiro. And it's got a kick to it too.
It has a kick.
If you're gonna handle the wasabi and the spices of the tuna, I'm giving the Ichiro in Seattle an 8 out of 10. Is that okay? You don't feel insulted?
No, don't feel insulted.
Okay, 8 out of 10. You've never had sushi here?
No.
Why not?
Because I want a frank and a beer.
But you have the Ichiro here.
I don't care. I'll have sushi outside the ballpark.
So that's it from day 2 of the 2008 road trip, and it's been a glorious evening, JC, to watch baseball here at Safeco.
Absolutely, Gouldy. The weather helped for us. You know, the Pacific Northwest known for its rain. No retractable roof tonight. We got it right.
We certainly did. So it's goodbye, Seattle,
And hello, Texas! Welcome, fellow baseball nuts, to day 3 of the 2008 road trip. We're here in Texas at the Rangers ballpark in Arlington. Now, JC, the fact that it is Texas, no surprise that this is huge, it's big, but is it the best?
Well, I think in terms of any of the ballparks we've gone to, this one is most emblematic of the state in which it resides. We talked a little bit about Seattle being somewhat claustrophobic. Well, this stadium, although equally as big,
if not more so.
Absolutely. But it's like the wide open ranges of Texas.
Yeah. Now, I look at the stadium itself. First impressions, it looks very smart. Actually, to be honest, when you get really down to the nitty-gritty, looks a bit worn around the edges. And what about this stand behind us? I mean, that looks like the east stand of the old Stamford Bridge. It looks seriously old.
If any stadium embraced the retro look, this is really one of them. You see all the exposed beams, you see the concrete everywhere, and you do see looks like that, which is much more 1930s baseball than it is anything that would be in the last 20, 30, 40 years.
Well, I assume that was deliberate. But let's talk about the field. Now, this has got a reputation for being a hitter's ballpark. And it surprises me now that we're here. I'm looking down the third base line, the first base line. They're both about 350 feet. That's a lot further than a lot of ballparks we've been to.
Well, the dimensions are very instructive as to what makes a hitter's ballpark. You look down the lines, as you point out, it's 350, normally 330 would be what you'd expect for a short porch on the lines. But the power alleys are relatively short, they're not too deep, but the real issues here are twofold. One, when the weather is hot, the ball tends to carry, and two, the wind, just the way the stadium was built, creates wind tunnels that really lead to balls flying out of the stadium.
Well, I can tell you the weather is hot, but is the stadium hot? Well, I'll tell you what, the Rangers ballpark in Arlington gets a 5 baseball thumb.
It's considered a hitter's ballpark. You must enjoy that aspect of it.
Absolutely. I think when the weather gets hot here, the air starts to thin out a little bit and the ball tends to carry a little more, but for some reason it doesn't make it any easier for me. I mean, the pitchers in this league are really tough, and in order to have some success, you really have to bear down and focus. But over time, I mean, it does have a tendency to favor hitters, but he can also wear you down physically, so there is a bit of a trade-off.
What about the stadium? I don't think I've ever seen anything quite so enormous in my life.
Oh, it's a gorgeous stadium. You know, it's one of the best in baseball. You know, people come here and they just love playing here. So, you know, I can see how guys like Mark DeRosa and Gary Matthews Jr., they went to other places, but they still love playing here. You know, we played at a lot of different stadiums. Fenway was a cool ballpark, and you know, a little bit different atmosphere. But here, I mean, it's definitely an advantage being a hitter in this ballpark. As you've seen, we score about 9-10 runs a game, but when it gets hot here, the ball really carries.
Talk a little bit about this stadium. Of course, it's known as a hitter's ballpark. You're a successful pitcher. Is it tough here if you're a pitcher?
Well, you know, it's if you look at it from the standpoint of the pitching in this stadium versus another stadium that might be more pitcher friendly, there is a difference. But the other pitcher has to pitch in the stadium too, so it's like going to Fenway or being in Chicago with the wind blowing out. You just have to pitch under those conditions, and so does the other pitcher on the opposing team. So you block that out of your mind and just go ahead and pitch your game, and if you're throwing strikes and making pitches, the ballpark shouldn't be a factor.